Coming up right now, a new time zone could be coming to outer space. More on this new twilight time as we shoot for the stars.
Also coming up, the latest strategy to keep minds sharp has nothing to do with time, but rather how you spend it.
A little bit later on, did they see this coming? There's a U.S. city changes the rules when it comes to fortune tellers and their psychic readings.
Ooh, Daily Flash starts right now.
Get ready for trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. The fun starts right now. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
And I am Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. So glad to have you here. We got us an hour packed with just television goodness, including Matt Doolittle, who's hanging out with us today.
Guys, you know, I'm fascinated. My wife's fascinated with space. We go to a couple space conferences every year, and we are closely watching this Starliner thing with Butch Wilmore and Suni Williams. And I don't want to steal this joke, and we know they're going to be stuck up there till February now.
Yeah.
Like
April, I thought, wasn't it?
What was that?
I thought it was April.
Yeah.
April now, so
Yeah.
it keep moving. Did they bring enough underwear? That's what I've been kind of like. Do you go up for a 2-week trip and now you're like?
I think they can do laundry in space.
They would.
They have a washing machine.
How
up there,
dirty
don't
do
they?
you get, though?
But they've always said, every astronaut I've heard speak, they say that space station just stinks.
I've heard that,
Like
yeah.
you can't really clean it.
Yeah.
Imagine, because air, as far as like natural air, there's really like no flow. It would all be.
They take like dry baths. Like wet, like it's like a wet draft. Like, you know, when you had a bad night at the bar and you just Purelled yourself before you went to bed.
Or Matt calls,
He calls it a Tuesday.
right?
Oh my goodness. Underconsumption core. Have you heard the phrase?
Underconsumption core?
Underconsumption core.
No, this sounds interesting.
Like hardcore underconsuming.
Oh, okay. Like you don't take as much.
Yes.
Okay. All
New
right.
trend on the socials. They're talking about, hey, I'm not influenced by what you're trying to sell, what you're trying to do. Instead, I'm doing the absolute opposite. I'm not buying anything. I'm not consuming anything. I'm scaling down. I'm getting rid. I only have one product for my morning routine. I only have one cup for a cup of coffee. I only have one cutting board, that kind of thing.
I couldn't see us Americans doing that as a whole, but I know there are people that are that way. I'm married to somebody that's trying to just downsize as much as possible, and you realize there's a lot of junk that's going on. But you mentioned products. I tried to count one time how many products I used just to get ready in the morning. It's about at least 30 different products, right?
It's a little frightening, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, you've got to take like 40 vitamins too.
And then my vitamins, if you
Yes.
count those, that's another 40 right there.
That's a whole hour.
But I would imagine, because in this world with Amazon where everything's just, it's sent to us and it's
Instantaneous.
we have a rule where I have to get rid of something if I get something new.
I think that's a good rule, especially when it comes to
donate it.
clothing, because it's so easy to just
Wife
pack
started
things.
making me do that with sneakers.
Oh.
I either got to hide them like Mitch does his fast food, or she's like, where'd those come from? I'm like,
That's your hobby. That's your collection.
yeah, but it's still too much. It's like, I don't wear them all,
You could sell them.
That's what I do.
That's
When I want a new one, she's like, all right, you got to sell one if you want these. I'm like, all right.
I do think this trend sort of follows in what was really popular over the summer, which was, I can't say the name because it sort of suggests something else, but people on planes going without their phones and they're going without social media.
Yeah.
So they're just trying to go back to like the days where we didn't have phones.
I think it's healthy. I
Yeah,
think it's good.
I do
I think
too.
it'll also make you realize you are dependent. Go a day without your phone and see what it's like.
yeah.
It really is. And there might be a day where we don't, all the phones go out, and what are we going to do? It's kind of scary.
We might have to talk to one another.
I think it would be good to do something like this under consumption core, maybe like, as an exercise, like for a week for like once a year, just to kind of help you get through. It'd probably make you appreciate more of the things that you have, or maybe just want to help other people. Interesting. Matt, you were talking about outer space. Well, now NASA continues to work towards returning astronauts to the moon, Alice. Some experts are saying the lunar landscape actually needs its own time zone. Scientists say that time ticks by faster on the moon compared to Earth, believe it or not. This difference is very small, but space flights and satellites rely on extreme precision. The idea for a new time zone for all the moon is all about to ensure the successful coordination of future missions. For those doing the math at home, moon time is not something I did in high school, but it passes 56 microseconds faster than the typical Earth day. As a result, the atomic clock on Earth would run at a different rate than the atomic clock on the moon. And we had a story, we were talking about it at least a couple of weeks ago, about the difference between metric and the imperial measuring system, how some countries follow it, and it really is a big screw up. We have to go all metric no matter what. So, I mean, yeah, I think we're going to have to get to a point where, what time is it on the moon right now? You know?
Well, if you're launching into space travel and you're making it an industry, it's going to have to, because like you mentioned, those launches, every satellite, every launch, every post-launch coming back to Earth, all relies on timing down to the second, where the Earth is rotating, where the moon is. I mean,
and crazy. I think, sounds very complicated, but even more complicated is going to be the networks, because they're going to say 8, 9 Central, 3 o'clock noon.
What about daylight saving time?
And daylight saving, they're going to do it.
Moonlight saving time?
Moonlight saving time.
Right now, they're trying to establish a whole lineup of rules and regulations and stuff for space. So say like we get to the point where we start procreating up in space, like who is that kid a child of? What country? What origin? Is it space baby? Is it not? Or who owns what?
And the only thing that we can see in our lifetime kind of used to is the internet. Internet law was made up. There's going to have to be a moon law. You're right.
So does that mean if I leave my blinker on in space, I can get pulled over?
The whole way.
Depends on where the car was made.
Right. Are you turning left or not? I don't know. Some researchers believe that when it comes to caring for your mind, it's all about how you spend the time. Virtual reality tech firm Mind, MYND, has created more than 200 immersive videos and virtual vacations that allow senior residents to travel the world without ever leaving their care facility. For most retirees, this kind of experience gives them the chance to travel the globe. Experts say virtual reality has been shown to enhance memory by improving a user's ability to note the difference between old and new environments. These VR adventures are part of a treatment known as reminiscence therapy. The approach involves showing photos and other reminders of their youth to cultivate joy and ward off feelings of isolation or loneliness.
It is nice to see that there's something good coming out of it. At least.
If you've ever taken a vacation or gone to Europe or a different country, the scenery looks completely different. Like you don't recognize maybe a Starbucks on the corner or your regular restaurants. And it's sort of like this wake-up call to your brain, because everything is brand new, nothing is recognizable, and it's kind of a refreshing feeling.
It is neat, and then you think of where virtual reality is going to be. It's going to be with the Vision, things that Apple has as well. There's a new amusement, I guess you call it, where you put on virtual glasses and you can, what is it, the squirrel suit, you can fly.
Oh, yes.
And so basically it's that, but you're wearing it, and so it really feels, it's like people are afraid to jump even though that they're in a studio.
It's like
so it is kind of scary.
It's like the ride at Disney, at
the Avatar.
The Avatar ride on the motorbike.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's
that thing is like, wow. Yeah.
So you can imagine that. You got to wonder if psychics in one United States city actually saw this coming. The city council in Norfolk, Virginia, lifted a 45-year-old ban on the practice of fortune telling for monetary or other compensation. The city's change of heart comes as the psychic services industries generated nearly $2 billion in revenue in 2023 and employed nearly 100,000 people. In late 2017, a survey found that many Americans hold the New Age beliefs, with 4 out of 10 believing in their psychic powers. In 2022, the AARP warned of scam psychics who continue to prey on elderly people who might be lonely and looking for guidance. So it's interesting. There's a city here just north of Orlando that has all these psychics live in it.
Casadega.
Yeah, thank you. And basically it was started that way. If you go there, you know that that's the case. And so it goes to show you, I didn't realize it was that much, but $2 billion a year industry. That's huge. Right? And if somebody's making money, the government's going to get on it somehow, right?
Of course they are.
I started a tradition every New Year's, right before New Year, I get a tarot card reading.
Do you really?
And for the last 3 years, it's been pretty spot on.
Really?
Does it influence any of your decisions?
Not really, but it's been pretty, and then I'll look at it at the end of that year and say, what was it? There were a couple things off, but it's been pretty accurate. I do it for 3 people in my lives, and it's worked out.
There's a TV show with Penn and Teller. It's on HBO, so I can't say the name, but I'll abbreviate it. It's called BS, okay? But it's the real name. And they talk about magic, obviously. Magic is, and they're magicians. They go, it's not really that complicated, folks. We're just fooling you. That's all we're doing. But they also break into things like the psychics and how they do their job, how they figure people out. But they do have an ability. Most psychics have an ability to know how to read people. They can see their body language and that sort of thing, which I think is a skill.
Yeah.
Altogether, unfortunately, getting the information and just handing it over, that could change. Like, Maddie, I'm going to invest all my life savings into something.
I'm not doing that. I mean, I spend $50 a year on this. That's it. So.
But there are people that do buy into it, hook, line, and sinker, and they're thinking, well, this person's telling me that I should spend $100 million on investing in this company, and they do it.
There's people that have killed their spouse based on their psychic telling them their partner was cheating. So
keep that in mind. Indeed, I tell you. Hold on, I'm seeing more Daily Flash.
Ooh, in our future?
No, yes, I am. But I see first a commercial break first, and it's very short.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Time to get flashed. We dish out some hot topics that we will sound off on. We want you to join us in the conversation with your thoughts on our social media. You guys ready?
We are ready. We have 15 seconds each, right?
Yeah,
to kind of say our part, and then we kind of all talk after.
Okay, first up, here's our first topic. A viewer asks if she should get flashed or not for changing the name of her daughter after a request from her sister-in-law.
Okay.
She says, my husband and I came up with a name for our daughter and told the family. Now, for months, no one said anything. Weeks after giving birth, my sister-in-law came to me and asked if we would change her name from Ember to something else. Turns out it was the name of her stillborn daughter. The viewer said no, she would not change it.
Yeah.
Was she wrong for not respecting her sister-in-law's request? Mitch, I'll start with you.
First up, listen, a name is a name. It goes with you for the rest of your life,
Yeah.
by all means. And a parent, that's one of the hardest decisions they have to make, is what they're going to call you. By all means, no, she should not have had to change it at all, even if, this is what they worked on. And the whole time she'll be thinking about that, as morbid as that sounds, and I'm sorry, as mean as it sounds, there's no way you can go around it. When that child is who that you've thought of to give that name, it has to be something that you'd be able to keep.
Maddie.
That is a hard no for me. Like my wife and I have already kind of picked out kids' names. If we get there, our first two, a boy or a girl, and we're not changing it no matter what anybody in the family says. Like my family's got some weird names, and none of us said anything, so we went with it. Plus, I mean, come on, the last name's Doolittle. The kid's gonna be stuck with that anyway. So the first name's gonna be fine, and then they're stuck with that one. So no, you're not changing it. I'm sorry.
Is Dewey Doolittle an option?
No,
not an option at
So
all.
your thoughts? I mean, if you think about it, is it disrespecting the parents' decision?
I think if she hadn't said anything, if she hadn't sent out the card and said, hey, this is our plan, this is how we plan to name the child, then maybe at that point this person should have spoken up about it.
That's a good point, yeah.
I can understand it, and then it's kind of a family thing. It's like, why did you name your child this? It's sort of a stigma now, but I don't know why no one said anything to begin with.
In the first place.
Yeah.
Maybe like a middle name, too.
Yeah, exactly. Next up, a viewer asks if she should get flashed or not for not allowing her fiance's best friend to come to their wedding. Now, there's a twist to this story, okay? So hold on to your seats. She says, I'm not inviting my fiance's best friend to our wedding because she pretends that I don't exist. To make matters worse, he's done nothing to address the situation. My fiance said he did not want to end his friendship with her or do anything to jeopardize it because he wonders what would happen if we broke up.
Okay.
This made me wonder if he would protect me as his wife since he wasn't making me a priority as his girlfriend / fiance. So who's in the right here?
All right. Can I go first?
Yeah.
All right. First, okay. So my understanding. So his best friend is a girl.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then 100%. I mean, it sounds like they just had a study out a while back that most women have a backup plan.
Yeah.
They have somebody in their mind if they get divorced. Sounds like that's what this person is. If unfortunately, you have to walk away, and if they're as close as they are, that person would understand. Hey, look, my new wife doesn't want you at the wedding.
Yeah.
So if you're a good enough friend as you are, which obviously it's going to be stressed out in the first place, then don't oblige to it at all. Wow.
Matt?
I think you got to compromise. There were a few people on both sides of our lists when we did them where I'm like, does that one really have to come from her side? And on my side, she's like, does that one have to come? I don't know. Mitch might get a little sideways because does he need to come? Does this one? But I mean, we kind of both looked at it. It was like no ex-boyfriends or girlfriends, even if we are friends with them still, because I'm friends with a couple of my ex-girlfriends.
Sure.
And so it was kind of that like, okay, let's adhere to that type of thing. So I think you come to a common agreement.
Yeah,
really.
and I think too, like, if you're marrying this person, she has to be your priority.
Yeah,
not your
100%,
best friend. Like, I get it. You've got to. Then if she's really your best friend, then maybe you're marrying the wrong person.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because you're supposed to be marrying your best friend
Yeah,
in the
exactly.
first place. Right,
Yeah, I
right.
just keep thinking of my best friend's wedding with Julia Robertson. Last one here. A viewer asks if he should get flashed for purposely leaving his brother in the cold at family events. My brother is upset about being left out of family events and the siblings group chat. He also is being ignored at work, and some of his colleagues don't invite him out to events outside of work hours. I told him that he is essentially excluding himself and that his behavior is the reason why he's left off the invite list. Should he get flashed or bring his brother back into the fold? Mitch?
All right. Well, I know I have 2 brothers, 2 sisters, and if we don't do this
Family
group chat
thing,
or
yeah.
whatever. But if we did, it seems like you should do whatever you can, even if you know the answer is going to be no. You should still extend that out, because it could be a one time. He might be going through something. Is he has the invitation there, that it's always there. If you forget one time, you're going to forget every time, and then eventually, well, they say you didn't even want me there in the first place.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I think he should continue to invite him to come in. And matter of fact, that brother should be in. Even if you don't comment, at least you know what's going on in your family, and not leaving out in the cold, and not going in, just at least saying, well, I can't make it because of, at least work a decent excuse into it.
What if he's the kind of guy that doesn't comment with a couple of lines, but with paragraphs in text?
Okay, well, then that's a different story. No, you got to let him say it.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
if you put him on that list, you know that's probably what you're going to get out of the deal. So, yeah, I
Okay.
can imagine that
Matt,
would be
group
a big
chat, no
problem.
group chat.
Well, I don't have any brothers or sisters, but I think you've got to be careful with, maybe he's got a background that they don't like inviting to stuff. Maybe he's too much of a drinker or something at some of these events, and they're like, hey, maybe we keep Tommy out of this one soiree we're having, because he gets a little screwy, but he's going to see it on Facebook or Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think that it's a family dynamic you got to be careful with there, because there's some people that we don't invite to some of our group stuff just because we're like, that one gets a little sideways. But if we're having a
Right.
all-on party, then we will invite them.
But it does say something about his personality if he's also sort of being excluded at work events and with coworkers.
Yeah,
so
it comes
there's
off
something
weird.
going on,
something
maybe.
going on there. But
Yeah.
does excluding him make matters worse?
I think it would, but
Yeah.
it will reassure whatever he's going through
Yes.
is real. And and if you're family, you're able to tell people generally how
Yeah.
you feel about them, and maybe that's what. Hey, look, we want to invite you, but every time it seems like there's some kind of issue. What's going on?
Every time you show up and
there's-
you strip down. Take
What do you
it.
think why I don't get invited to much?
If you want to sound off on these stories, all you have to do is head to our socials and tell us what you think. Head to our website. There's a sound off button right there, dailyflashshow.com.
We got more. We're doing Car Smarts right around the corner. Hey, welcome back to Daily Flash. I'm Mitch English. In today's Car Smarts, Lauren Fix, the car coach, lets us know how your private information from your car can actually be handed right over to law enforcement.
Automakers are giving up your data to the police. What happened to privacy? At least 8 car makers in the United States have admitted they would backtrack on a voluntary privacy agreement and turn over your personal customer data to the government and to the police, prompting calls for an investigation. Automotive News reports 19 car makers had voluntarily signed up for the Consumer Privacy Protection Principles in 2014, standards which would require the U.S. government and agencies, including the police, to obtain a warrant or court order to access customer location data. However, 8 automakers misled customers about giving driver data to the police, and now U.S. automakers are raising questions about whether automakers can be held to account for departing from promises made about user privacy. So who is giving your information to others? Toyota, Nissan, Subaru, Volkswagen, BMW, Mazda, Mercedes-Benz, and Kia would turn over your data if a subpoena were produced, in violation of the standards they signed up for. These car companies are following the agreement they signed. General Motors, Honda, Ford, Stellantis, and Tesla require a warrant for location data unless it was an emergency or customer consent was provided. Tesla was also the only brand to notify its customers of legal demands. Actually, all manufacturers should inform you if they're giving up your information and your data. This has not only raised concerns about what other privacy promises car makers have made that they won't be keeping, but it has also led to 2 U.S. senators calling for companies to be investigated by the Federal Trade Commission. And quote, automakers have not only kept consumers in the dark regarding their actual practices, but multiple companies misled consumers over a decade by failing to honor the industry's own voluntary privacy principles, said Senator Ron Wyden and Senators Ed Markey in a letter to the FTC. Mercedes-Benz, Toyota, and Kia all defended their practices, while the Alliance of Automobile Innovation, a lobbying group for the car industry, claimed the government agencies only request location information when there is clear danger to an individual. And quote, vehicle location information is also provided to law enforcement under specific and limited circumstances, such as when an automaker is providing a warrant or a court order, or in situations where there is imminent threat or serious bodily harm or death to an individual, an AAI spokesperson told Automotive News. In March, the New York Times published an in-depth investigation about a Chevrolet Bolt owner who had been quoted a significantly higher insurance renewal premium, later discovering that his data was being sold to insurance firms by a data broker called LexisNexis. This was followed by a second report detailing a proposed class action lawsuit put forward by a Cadillac XT6 owner who claimed he was denied insurance by 7 companies on account of his LexisNexis driving report provided to the firms without his knowledge. Both of the vehicles were equipped with OnStar and GM's Connected Services brand, which is gathering information used by LexisNexis. In the wake of the reports, General Motors subsequently ended its partnership with both LexisNexis and Verisk, a similar company which also sold driving data to insurance companies. According to the New York Times, an internal document circulating within General Motors showed more than 8 million vehicles were actively supplying data through OnStar's Smart Driver program as of 2022. The problem is, you sign away your ownership when you use their systems, and keep an eye out for those opt-out options and support the government bills that protect your privacy.
Hey, we are deep into grilling season and everyone is looking to up their grilling game. Here to share their favorite tips and tricks for mastering the art of outdoor cooking are New York Times bestselling cookbook author and chef Gabby Dalkin and Tillamook dairy expert Stephen Halstone. Welcome, Gabby and Stephen.
Hi,
Hello.
so excited to be here. Thanks for having us.
So Gabby, you just released a new book all about grilling. Can you give us some of your top tips?
Yes, I sure did. This is 2 months old, and when you boil down grilling to its simplest form, it is heat plus time plus food, and we're using really incredible ingredients. And I don't like to overcomplicate anything. You just need some great tools, and you can think about using your grill just like you would your oven. Once you really dial in that formula, you can cook pretty much everything in here, and we're about to tell you all these incredible recipes. So
yeah, one of my favorite from your book is your spicy Diavolo Sopressata pizza. It uses crushed green olives, spicy sopressata, and it's topped with full-flavored, creamy, melty Tillamook whole milk mozzarella shreds. It's one of my favorite recipes in there.
It's a really incredible recipe, and you can do pizza on your grill, no problem. Another quintessential recipe we must have is a smashed butter burger. We are quite literally grating Tillamook extra creamy butter into the meat mixture, forming it into a patty, and throwing it on the grill or the griddle. Plus, we're topping it with Tillamook's famous extra sharp farm-style cheddar slices. So just those 2 things alone are absolute perfection. Top it with whatever you want. And then another thing which is sometimes shocking to people is you can actually bake on your grill. If you shut the top of your grill or a smoker, it acts just like the oven. So this is my Snickerdoodle Pizookie with vanilla bean Tillamook ice cream on top. It is the creamiest way to end a meal.
And you can find all of these recipes and where to find our products at tillamook.com, or on social media you can follow us. And Gabby's latest cookbook is available anywhere where books are sold.
Hey guys, thanks for that, and we'll make sure we have this on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
This is Daily Flash with your hosts, Andrea Jackson and Mitch English. Trending news and entertainment. This is Daily Flash.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrea Jackson.
I'm Mitch English, welcoming you to Daily Flash. So glad to have you here. We go to Bed-Stuy, New York, where, sometimes when you want to show some love, you have to kind of realize that, we're all in this, and maybe it might not be the best way you're helping society. So there was a fire hydrant up in Bed-Stuy, New York, just outside right of Brooklyn and everything, and it had been started leaking some water. So there was this big old puddle here, right?
Okay.
And they keep on telling me, hey, this thing's leaking. Nobody ever does these things. It's right by the sidewalk. Well, these 2 guys see it and they go, hey, let's put some goldfish in there. So they went and got a goldfish, and people started coming by looking at this goldfish. I'm telling you, is in the ground. Imagine right by a fire hydrant, and the fire hydrant's feeding the water because it's leaking out.
Okay.
Eventually they go, this is cool. They wound up putting about 70 goldfish in there. Well, now people from everywhere, including social media, are coming by to look at this thing, and they're like, well, look at the goldfish. And if you go online and watch it, the goldfish, there's so many in there that they're not moving. They're all like still, right? First time I saw it, I thought it was a picture, but it was actually video. So anyway, long story short, they're like, hey, I don't think you guys thought this out because, it gets cold in New York. And things freeze up. So these things are not going to probably make it. However, they started a GoFundMe account right now to find out so they can move all these fish.
Say go fish.
Go fish, that's awesome. $5,000 they've already raised because people from all over the country are donating.
Save the goldfish?
Couldn't go to something else.
Right, exactly.
To fix the fire hydrant?
First off, they're gonna have to take the fish out, move them to a place. They need to hit the fire hydrant needs to be fixed because, like I said, it's leaking out and everything. That's what they should have done. And the city doesn't know what to do. And they're also trying to say, hey, this is a protected area because now there's fish in there.
It's wildlife protection.
Right. What's going to happen is somebody's going to come by and then hopefully they'll spend that money and then they'll wind up. They have cameras on it so that nobody messes with the fish.
A goldfish camera.
What they should have done is just put a toilet right next to it, and then it could just one into the other.
It would cut out the middleman, right?
What happens when someone's house is on fire and they need a fire hydrant?
Hopefully the fish are going to be in the fire. What it is.
Wow. Okay.
We'll see.
Interesting. As NASA continues to work toward returning astronauts to the moon, some experts say the lunar landscape needs its own time zone. Scientists say time ticks by faster on the moon compared to Earth. The difference is very small, but space flights and satellites rely on the extreme precision. The idea for a new time zone for the moon is all about ensuring the successful coordination of future missions and, of course, space travel. For those doing the math at home, moon time passes 56 microseconds faster than a typical Earth day. As a result, an atomic clock on Earth would run at a different rate than an atomic clock on the moon.
That's interesting about that. I mean, and there is going to have to be, because if we colonize it, we're going to have some new law. And then who is in control of it? Is it going to be a sovereign nation and that sort of thing? You kind of wonder. Is it going to be Florida adjacent, or what?
We're going to have a Florida moon man?
Florida moon man, right. Right. So you think about that.
Dune buggy with a Confederate flag on the hood or something.
You know what stinks about
happen.
If you went to the moon right now, if you think about it, this is completely American. It's nothing but American trash if you think about it. That's all up there. Because we go up there and we just leave stuff there, and we've
some Chinese stuff on the backside.
Well, but it's all trash.
That's true. Yeah, it's all junk.
Saying? It's just because what are they going to do with it?
Right.
Because they can't bring it back. So that's what we do as human beings.
So we trash Earth and then we go to the moon and we'll just trash that and then we'll go to Mars and we'll
Maybe
trash
we
that
should
too.
think about that before time zones.
Flying up there, you're just going to run into a bunch of Starlink satellites as you knock into those trying to get there anyway. So.
That
What
elevator.
if we take a bowl of goldfish to the moon and
just
see how they work out?
You just see them floating around.
Yeah.
I bet you somebody has already probably done something
Probably.
like that. I don't know. If you think about it, there is a whole. Matter of fact, they just did some mining on the other side of the moon. I believe China might have done it since you mentioned that, and they have found that the materials that are in there obviously shows at some time there was some oxygen that could possibly do that. So they're finding more and more things about the moon. Who knows exactly how long it'll be before we're actually living there? It might be quite some time.
I'll stay.
Right here?
I'll stay right here.
Stay right here. And matter of fact, if while you're here, why not check out our website? It's always waiting for you at dailyflashshow.com. Lots of cool stuff on there.
Yeah, in fact, if you've got a question or you see something on the show that you like, we love for you to sound off, and you can reach out to us on the website.
It's really simple. Joining us now is Sherry Shepard to talk about the importance of getting vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Sherry, we are welcoming you to Daily Flash. Big fans of your show.
Thank you so much. I love yours too.
Oh, good. Hey, you got any pre-show routines or maybe rituals that help you prepare for your time on air?
Well, other than getting all glammed up with my hair and makeup, shout out to my wonderful glam team. I actually love to roller skate around my studio before I tape.
Well, interesting. That sounds fun.
Yeah, you should try it sometime.
All right.
Although, if you crash, you did not get that idea from me.
I promise I won't tell anyone, but maybe I'll try it out. All right, on top of being an award-winning TV host, you're also a comedian, an actress, author, and of course a mom. Pretty impressive. What has really contributed to your success over these years?
Well, I learned early on that you have to run towards the very thing that scares you. Because starting out in stand-up comedy and TV can be scary. But practicing my jokes on the bus and spending time on the road, working late hours behind the scenes, it all led to me sitting here with you.
I
And
love
now I
that.
get to take my shot at doing what I love every day.
I love that. I'm sure, though, you've been faced with some huge challenges all in that time. Can you share with one, maybe your biggest that you faced?
Wow. Well, the one that I always go back to isn't as much professional as it is personal. I have diabetes, so I had to learn how to keep my health in check. So for me, that looks like working out, eating right, talking with my doctor regularly, and getting CDC recommended vaccinations that help me stay healthy. It took a lot to get here, so I will not be held back from doing what I love.
You got some exciting projects you've been working on lately?
Well, during a break from filming my show, I went back on tour doing comedy sets for the first time in a while. That is my favorite thing to do in the world. And I'm also acting in a new Tyler Perry movie, which I'm very excited to be a part of. I also partnered up with Pfizer and Joe Montana to raise awareness about pneumococcal pneumonia and the importance of getting vaccinated, which is especially important to me because I have diabetes, and I learned I'm at increased risk for getting it.
Well, tell me more about pneumococcal pneumonia. Is this really a serious condition?
Oh, absolutely. Pneumococcal pneumonia is a potentially serious bacterial lung disease. Now, in severe cases, it can put you in the hospital and even be life-threatening. I also learned the same bacteria that causes pneumococcal pneumonia are responsible for invasive pneumococcal disease, which includes blood infection and meningitis.
It does sound pretty serious. Who's at most risk for pneumococcal pneumonia?
People who are age 19 to 64 with certain underlying medical conditions like diabetes or asthma. In fact, people like me who have diabetes are at over 5 times higher risk for pneumococcal pneumonia compared with healthy adults 18 to 64. If you're 65 or older, you're at increased risk too.
All right. What advice would you give people about having to protect themselves against pneumococcal pneumonia?
I encourage everyone to talk to their doctor or pharmacist about pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination, or visit vaxassist.com to book theirs online. Now, even if you've already been vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia, you should still check with your doctor or pharmacist to make sure you're up to date.
Thank you, Sherry. Anything else you want people to know?
Absolutely. Pneumococcal pneumonia can strike at any time, anywhere, in any season. Now, can you tell I am all in on making sure people know about getting vaccinated against it? I don't want it to stop them from doing what they love. And that's the thing. I love comedy. It's been a part of my life for as long as I can remember. I'm pretty sure I came out of the womb cracking jokes, but I do not joke about pneumococcal pneumonia. So go talk to your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated. Then keep taking your shot at whatever it is you love to do.
I love that. Keep taking your shot. Sherry, thanks so much. More information is going to be on our website at dailyflashshow.com. Sherry Shepherd, thank you.
Hey, back to school season is here, and that means families are gearing up for a busy fall filled with homework, activities, and packed schedules, all while needing to keep those kiddos fueled and focused throughout the day. Here are some tips to help your prep.
It's back to school lunchbox season, and Z-Bar, Cliff's energy snack bar brand for active kids, has delicious snack bars made with energizing whole grains from organic oats. Z-Bars have a soft baked texture that kids love, and they have Z-Bar protein snack bars, which are made from a good source of protein to help support kids' growing bodies. And when it comes to back to school, I am all about crowd-pleasing snacks that will satisfy any picky eater. Walgreens Nice brand is their balanced food and beverage brand that features delicious products at affordable prices. They're perfect for packing in a lunchbox or serving up as an after-school snack board. And the back-to-school season is the perfect time to reset and make sure that kids are getting the nutrients that they need to thrive. The good news is that there's new research showing that beef is an important staple food that can help increase nutrient intake. And you can feel good knowing that your kids are fueled with 10 essential nutrients like high-quality protein, iron, and B vitamins.
More than 7.8 million teens across the country participate in high school sports. And with so many young athletes gearing up for another active season, nutrition becomes one of the most critical pieces of the puzzle. Former WNBA athlete and renowned sports nutritionist Brianna Butler is here with some simple nutrition tips for families with school-aged athletes.
One thing I love to tell teen athletes and their parents is that fueling an active lifestyle does not have to be difficult. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. Just remember this one simple formula: protein plus carbohydrates plus electrolytes. If you're getting all three of those in each day, in addition to drinking enough water, of course, then you'll be giving your body the nutrients that it needs both on and off the field. Now, after activity, your young athlete needs protein to help to rebuild and repair muscles, and also get some carbohydrates to help them to replenish energy stores. Now, one of my go-to protein sources that teens love are these turkey and cheese roll-ups. They are so convenient and they literally take seconds to make. Now, I also love this nut-based trail mix because it's another grab-and-go option. For carbs, you can add in some dried fruit or some chocolate chips, or you can have some dried fruit by themselves, such as these baked plantain chips. Now, I'm also a fan of a classic PB&J on whole wheat bread because you get some protein from the peanut butter and some carbohydrates from the jelly and the bread. Now, as an athlete, we know we're sweating a little bit. And so in sweat, we're not just losing fluids, we're also losing key electrolytes such as potassium, sodium, and magnesium. So it's important that your young athlete adds in electrolytes and make sure they replenish those electrolytes after active days. Now, different ways that they can get that, they don't just have to have sports drinks. You can also get those through things such as salted foods, which I love. So these salted pretzels, for example, can help to replenish sodium and give you some carbohydrates. Now, I am also a fan of these new Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with Electrolytes pouches because they are powered by fruit and they're made with no added sugar. Now, one other thing that I want to remind you is that drinking water is, of course, essential. So you want to make sure that your teen athlete keeps a reusable water bottle with them throughout the day. And as a part of a diverse and overall balanced diet, these quick and convenient snacks can help keep your young athlete fueled throughout their active season. For more information and more tips for young athletes, feel free to connect with my team at power_portions on Instagram. And for more information on these new Go-Go Squeeze Active Fruit Blend with Electrolytes pouches, just go to gogosqueeze.com.
Hey, did you know protein can do more than just build muscles? Well, joining us today to talk about how to effectively integrate protein into our daily diets and the importance of meal prepping and share tips of achieving long-term health goals is Head of Nutrition at MyFitnessPal, Melissa Yeager. Thanks for joining us, Melissa.
Protein is a macronutrient that is popular to talk about these days and essential for each and every one of us to incorporate throughout our diet to support our overall health and well-being. Because not only does it support our muscle mass, but it also helps to keep us full longer and stabilize those blood sugar levels to in turn reduce cravings and help us navigate incorporating more nutrient-dense foods throughout the day. And this is where the Quick Start High Protein Plan from MyFitnessPal can help us not only identify protein sources within our diet, but provide us with easy tools such as our downloadable grocery shopping list and easy to incorporate recipes to help set you up for success with your high protein diet. Now, to get started with this, you can head to the Apple App Store or Google Play Store to download MyFitnessPal for free today and get started with the Quick Start High Protein Plan.
And now lifestyle expert Carmen Ordonez shares tips on outfits and dorm decor to ensure a memorable and fashionable school year, which shines affordable and trendy essentials for students, perfect for the warm to fall transition.
One of the best places to find trendy back-to-school pieces is Shein. I mean, they're just known for consistently delivering a wide variety of affordable and stylish options for everyone. It's no wonder it's one of the most downloaded fashion apps. One of my top picks is the Shein Teen Girl Letter Patch Detail overall jumpsuit. It's comfy, it's versatile. You can easily transition it from the summer to the fall. Or how about this beautiful floral dress paired with a t-shirt underneath? They also have kid sizes for all ages, so you're bound to find that perfect back to school outfit. Now, when it comes to college dorm room decor, you can also do it on a budget. Shein has an amazing selection of dorm decor essentials to help transform any space, from this beautiful throw blanket to this mini handmade knotted ball decor. You'll be able to find the perfect piece to really make your dorm room your own. For more information and to check out the entire back to school selection, you can search for BTS 2024 on the Shein app as well as Shein.com.
As much as 80% of a child's learning is visual, with children spending most of the school day reading, looking at a board, or using a laptop, much like I did. Yet 1 in 4 school-age children struggle with reading and learning because of undiagnosed vision problems. VSP Network Dr. Jennifer Wademan has more.
How a child processes their visual information is quite a complicated process. And so if a child isn't seeing clearly in the classroom or their eyes are not working well together, we can definitely see some impacts of that on their academic performance, overall confidence, and overall well-being. We're definitely seeing a lot more device use in the classroom and outside of the classroom. When a kid is on a device, they tend not to blink as much. And so dry eyes can actually be an issue. Headaches, eye fatigue, those are all some symptoms that can come with device use. Definitely recommend unplugged activities, taking a break, looking far away, getting your kid outdoors. Those are all very good options just to kind of step away from that device or that screen. A great source is vsp.com/eye doctor. From there, you can find an eye doctor in your community or local area.
Hey, thanks for all those great tips. We'll make sure we have them on our website at dailyflashshow.com.
Welcome back to Daily Flash. A woman and a robot attempt to solve a mystery. This is today's must-watch series, Sunny.
So, why Japan?
Food, culture. It sounded perfect.
I'm afraid we have bad news.
My family was in a plane crash. Things have been, weird. Can I help you?
I have a gift.
Hajimemashite, Susie-san. I'm Sunny. Bring it in. Okay.
Robots can be of great comfort.
I don't want a robot. I hate robots.
Sunny was created by your husband.
I'm confused. Masa works in refrigerators.
You are also laugh riot.
What are you hiding from me? How much does Masa talk to you about what he does at Ematech? Maybe I could help figure this out. Did you really know my husband?
I don't know. My first memory is meeting you.
I heard about this, guide that helps you break into HomeBots.
Susie-san, they want something from you.
私はあの人の仕事を尊敬してたから。
Sunny, right? Does it seem normal? Sunny? Are you okay?
Don't you see, Susie? I was programmed for you.
I'm gonna find out what happened to my family.
I know about trying to fight pain and mess. But do we have to do it alone?
Ooh, that looks good.
It did. It hooked me in, and then
Yeah.
of course Rashida Jones there play that. So it looks like a little bit of humor in it, but it looks fun.
Yeah, well, that does it for us
It
today.
sure does. Thanks y'all for joining us. We'll see you again tomorrow.
Head to our website, dailyflashshow.com.
Bye bye.